everybody. Back to Murf's Turf, a Star Trek Prodigy podcast. I am Brent, a.k.a. Dad, joined by my own progeny, Jude. Say hi, Jude.
Hi, everybody.
Jude, we are here today to discuss the fifth and final episode of Star Trek Prodigy.
Wait, what?
Okay, not really the final episode,
okay.
but the show is going into a bit of hiatus. Do you know what the word hiatus means?
Question mark on top of my head? No.
Hiatus means a break.
Oh, okay.
If you take a hiatus from something, that just means you take a break, but you're planning to come back. You're not quitting. You're just on a break and you'll be back. The show's on a hiatus until somewhere in the new year. I don't know why.
Why?
If I can speak as a fan of the show, Jude, the show has built up so much momentum. The show is going really, really well.
Yeah.
It's going so good. And unless there's a production reason, like they need more time to make the other episodes of the show, unless there's that reason, I don't understand this move at all. Like, I think this has to be some business move that the people in suits in a building over there somewhere have made. The people who write the checks,
Yeah.
I don't understand why they're stopping the show 5 episodes in. There's so much momentum.
Yeah, I know.
Built up right now.
And so are we going to keep doing it and talk about another Star Trek
let's talk about that at the end of today, because we could either go on hiatus with the show or we could do another show or something like that. It's our show, Jude. We can do it whatever we want. Let's talk about that at the end of today's episode.
Okay.
Because for today, we're going to be talking about episode 5 of Star Trek Prodigy, Terra Firma. This is Star Trek's first kids show, playing on Nickelodeon and streaming on Paramount Plus. Jude, it's been a really busy week or so for us.
Yeah, it has.
And we're a little late getting the show out. The episode's already a week old. So I'd like to say happy Thanksgiving to everyone in America who is celebrating that. And if you're not in America, I want to say Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah. I'm going to stop because I'm going to miss somebody and just say Happy Holidays. Whatever holiday you celebrate.
Navidad.
There it is. Whatever holiday you celebrate at this time of year, happy that holiday. Jude, I have a surprise for you.
What?
I do. Do you remember 2 weeks ago when I said, hey, if you guys send us an email, we'll read it on air, and then somebody actually sent us an email?
Yeah, like when we went to the Bucks game on Tuesday or Monday, and we met one of your friends, and he was talking about something, and I had no idea what he was talking about. Is it that?
Yes, actually it is. Yes. What Jude is referencing here is one of the things that took us away this past week was we went to a football game down in Tampa, Florida, to see the Tampa Bay Buccaneers play. It's our personal favorite team. And we met somebody down there who was like, hey, congratulations on your podcast. Here's this, this, and this. And I said, shh, I haven't told Jude yet. He doesn't know. There's a couple of things I got to tell you. First of all, somebody else sent us an email. So I want to read that email. I thought this was pretty cool. This email says, hey guys, my name is Jeremy. I am the creator and host of the Star Trek Wars podcast.
What's a Star Trek Wars?
So Star Trek Wars is a podcast that I've actually listened to before several times. And I like the concept of the show where what they do is they take season 2, episode 5, and they watch season 2, episode 5 from the original series, season 2, episode 5 from Next Generation, season 2, episode 5 from Deep Space Nine, season 2, episode 5 from Voyager, season 2, episode 5 from Enterprise, Discovery, whatever they are.
Space Nine.
And they basically say who had the best season 2, episode 5. Like it's kind of a cool concept.
Like a comparison?
Yes. And they'd say, they say who. So anyway, but that episode was actually, or that podcast was actually done by a guy and his young son, kind of like ours is.
Really?
Yeah. So it was cool. It was really cool to get this email from Jeremy, I've never met him before, but I've listened to his show. Anyway, he says, I just wanted to say, I love what you guys are doing. I also started my podcast for one sole purpose, to watch Star Trek with my young son. Jude, I am amazed at how well-spoken you are, and also at how wonderfully articulated your thoughts and questions continue to be.
What does that mean?
It means that you actually take the time to think about what questions you have. You take time to think about what your thoughts and feelings are on the episode. and you word it very well. So that's very good. All I can say is enjoy this time together because it's a very special thing that you two are doing. My son, Connor, was 11 when we started back in 2014, and now he's 19 years old and off to college.
So when I was 2 years old, they started?
That's when it would have been. So Jude was 2, Connor, when you were 11. And who knows, Jude, maybe we'll do this till you go to college. It says Connor still watches Star Trek regularly, so his evil scheme has worked.
Did you actually write all that?
No, I added a little bit to that. He says, anyway, I look forward to your next episode. Keep up the great work. Jeremy from Star Trek Wars. Jeremy, thank you so much for sending in an email.
Thank you.
And hey, listen, guys, go check out Jeremy's podcast. They're still putting out new episodes. So make sure you go check them out. Star Trek Wars, wherever you get your podcasts. Super cool email. You guys want to email in anything to us? We'll read it on the next episode here of Murf's Turf. You can do that by emailing us to murfsturfpodcast@gmail.com. Jude, I got one more email this week I want to read to you. This email is not from a fan. This email is not from somebody who has been in production or anything like that. This is an email from an app that puts out podcasts called Good Pods. And they said, congratulations, Murf's Turf, a Star Trek Prodigy podcast. This is what you didn't know. This is what I told the guy, like, shh, Jude doesn't know. Your podcast, Murf's Turf, a Star Trek Prodigy podcast, has made the top listener charts. We are number 23 of the top 100 charts in TV review podcasts.
What?
Yeah, isn't that cool?
Wow.
Yeah.
Holy.
Yeah. Listeners had voted with their ears to get us on the charts. So I just want to say, and I got to tell you, I'm not going to go into all the numbers and stuff, but the show's doing so good, Jude. Like it is phenomenal to me. And I got to say the star attraction is you. It's certainly, they're not here to listen to this old fogey do anything. But to everyone out there who's downloaded the show, you've emailed in, you've subscribed, you've listened, you've shared, you've told other people about it. Let me just say thanks. Like, this is awesome that you guys out there are hanging out with us on a weekly basis. And yeah, Jude, maybe now that Murf's Turf is on a hiatus, I think we have to keep doing something. I don't think we can just stop now.
No. Do podcasters have subscribers?
Oh, yeah. People subscribe to the podcast. It's kind of like on YouTube, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What does it actually mean? I've heard make sure to subscribe to whatever.
That's a good question. So basically what it means is whenever we put out a new episode, all of the people who are subscribed, that episode automatically goes to their phone or whatever podcasting app they use. And that little app goes, hey, you got a new episode from Murf's Turf. You can listen now.
Ooh.
Yeah. So pretty cool. Pretty cool. So anyway, thank you guys to everyone out there who has made this show a raving success. You guys are just awesome. You guys, this is just, it's so fun. I honestly, Jude, I got to tell you, when we started doing this, I was just like, I didn't think many people were going to listen at all.
Really?
No, I really didn't. I just thought this would be a fun little project that you and I kind of did on the side, and people were taking to it. So that's awesome. All right, Jude, let's talk Star Trek Prodigy, episode 5. The name of the episode, Terra Firma.
Should be Transforma.
Transforma? Well, do you know it's a play on words because the real word is Terra Firma.
Terra Firma?
Terra Firma, which is, it just means earth, like heart, like solid earth, ground earth.
Oh.
But it's terror because the planet wants to kill it, right?
Yeah.
All right. Now, fair warning to everybody out there. This is a spoiler-filled podcast. If you are listening beyond this point, we will assume that you have already seen this week's episode, or rather last week's episode of Star Trek Prodigy, in this case, episode 5, Terra Firma, as we have mentioned. So final warning from this point forward, spoilers abound. We'll talk about everything. Jude?
Yeah?
You did a great job a couple of weeks ago with the recap. You want to try it on this one?
Sure. While on the planet from last week's episode, the ship goes flying out of the planet's control, and you do it.
Cool, I'll take care of it. With Gwen and Murf safe from a crashing protostar ship, the crew gets a message from Janeway that the ship is safe and just 10 kilometers away. So they set off on foot to find the ship. But as they go, they encounter more ways that this planet apparently wants to eat them, and eventually they are separated from Gwen. But when the diviner shows up, he finds Gwen, but he has the choice to make between her or the ship, and he chooses the ship. But the crew comes to Gwen's rescue, apparently granting her forgiveness, and they escape using the ship's newly discovered protostar drive. And that's the end of the episode. And it goes on hiatus. My first response, Jude, if I could go first, my first response to this episode was, what? That's where they're going to leave it? Like, I don't know that this was a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't a cliffhanger like last week. It's just like, you stopped there. Like sorry, Jude, you're not going to understand what this word means, but there's supposed to be like a denouement at the end of the episode. Like, give us a little off ramp as we head into the hiatus. But no. They just stopped it right there.
I think I know what they're doing.
What do you think?
They're trying to get you up so that you'll watch the next episode next week or next 6 years.
Oh, yeah. We're watching the next episode whenever it comes out. It just should have come out, today.
Yeah.
As we record this. So, all right, Jude, how'd you like this episode?
I think it was good. I think that there was a lot of teamwork.
Mm-hmm.
And if one of the characters wasn't there, I don't think they could have gotten off the planet.
Yeah, that's true. Because they needed them all, right?
Yeah.
Except maybe Murf.
No.
No, everybody needs Murf.
Murf.
Everybody needs Murf. I was just joking.
Wait, hold on.
That. Yeah.
Hold on.
I liked this episode, but I think I like it within the context of the first 5 episodes together.
Huh?
Like this episode's great. It's a beautiful episode. It's a great episode.
And if you didn't like it, and you probably wouldn't like it if you haven't seen the other 4 episodes.
No, that's not what I meant, but it wouldn't have made sense at all.
No.
If you
No.
didn't. But I really liked it in the context of the other 4 episodes, like having seen those. If you come in and just watch this episode by itself, you'd be pretty lost. You wouldn't know exactly what's going on.
If you watch the cliffhanger.
But the Benson sisters who wrote this episode did a marvelous job writing it. I mean, we talk about it every single week, Jude. The animators, the whole production of this show just killed it. But Jude, do you remember the show Gargoyles? You and I've watched it a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Show where there's like a big purple gargoyle and
Disney's Gargoyles. Yeah, it was on back in the 1990s. It was old.
Hold on. Let me think about it. Oh yeah, I do remember.
Yeah. So this was a little bit like that to me in that with Gargoyles, the pilot episode was actually the first 5 episodes combined.
Whoa.
You know what I mean? Like it really was. The pilot episode was it was that storyline combined. And I feel like as we go forward, when we look back on Star Trek Prodigy, we're going to look at these 5 episodes together as one story.
Probably.
And it's from this point that the crew's adventures are going to go forward. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, because this one, when you think about these 5 stories, we had to meet each of the different characters. We had to get the crew together. They had to get the ship. They had to discover what the heck the ship is. They have this riff with Gwen. And I've been saying for weeks, Gwen has to become a part of the crew somehow. She can't just be in the brig and handcuffs the whole time.
And she is.
And I think this episode served that purpose to get Gwen in as part of the crew. I think they were able to what they showed us was they forgive her for whatever she did back on the mining planet that they were in. They might still have some stuff to figure out later on, but for the most part, Dal came down and he said, he's like, you're with us now, and we'll talk about all that in just a moment. But like this episode was the perfect end to a 5-part pilot.
Yeah, I think this show is way better than the little bit of the new Power Rangers show that came out, the old Power Rangers shows, SpongeBob, Loud House.
There you go.
All of that is way better.
Well, Star Trek producers, you guys have heard, you guys are better than all of those other kid shows. And you know what, Jude? As a parent, I don't disagree. I honestly take my own Star Trek fandom out of it. I would, having watched all of those episodes and having watched this episode with you, or this show with you, as a parent, I would rather you watch Star Trek Prodigy than any of those other shows. And I'm not saying those other shows are bad, but the value of this show, of what I know that they're going to teach you as a person, the values they're going to try to pass on to you. This is the show. Like, this is the show as a parent I want my kids watching. I'm fine for you to watch the other shows if you like them, but I want you watching this show. So I'm glad you like it. And hey, those guys are good. You mentioned favorite moments a moment ago.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some favorite moments. Jude, what were some of your favorite moments from this episode? Terror Firma.
The beginning, the intro.
Again,
Yeah.
You really like the opening credits.
Yeah, that's going to be one of my favorite moments the whole time.
Fair enough.
And I liked Rock and Murf when Murf came out of the ship with Gwen.
Oh, break your heart.
And I like
when she's like hugging him and she's like, I'll protect you always. Nothing bad will ever happen. And Murph's like, oh, I can't make that noise. I need to get the sound effect of Murph's noise. Oh, good Lord. I can't.
And earlier when Jenkum Pog was going on, this planet is safe to breathe. Oh, Jenkum Pog, you don't need the suit. And then Murf is just on Rock's shoulder and he's like
when Murf blows the raspberry at Jenkum, yeah.
What's a raspberry?
That right there. That's called blowing a raspberry. Yeah, Jenkum, man, he was like, yeah, you don't need the suit, they said. You can breathe the atmosphere, you said. Look who's warm and toasty now. Jenkum deserved to get that.
Yeah. And Zero and the alien species planet type thingy where when Rock wanted to name the planet Larry. And Zero was gonna ask the planet if it was okay, and then Zero goes up and says, "Nope, the planet just wants to eat us."
Well, Zero can do the telepath.
Telepathy thing. I forgot about that.
He might have actually asked the planet, like, "Hey, are you guys good?" Jude, here's a question.
Yeah.
What would you have named the planet? Rock wanted to name it Larry. What would you have named it?
Murder Planet.
Oh, just Murder Planet?
I'm with Jenkum on that.
Yeah.
And when it started raining acid and Zero said it was part of the digestive system?
Yeah.
Does that mean the planet pees? Or no?
Maybe. But Jude, in your stomach, in your body, you eat food, the food goes into your stomach.
Yep.
Do you know how your body digests that food?
Nope.
It has acid inside your stomach.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
You have
about
stomach
that.
acid, right? And it helps digest your food, and then you can use the nutrients.
And when it took when it took the Roadrunner thingy 4-wheeler.
You liked that part?
No.
I felt so bad. I was like, no. The runaway. They call it the runaway.
Yeah, the runaway.
Yeah.
Maybe it was crushing the runaway, and it started raining acid to break it down.
Oh, maybe that's why it started raining acid, was because it just ate the runaway. That's an interesting idea. I hadn't thought about that. That's a real interesting idea.
And the end. I loved the end when they found out the star was in the ship and the containment, and when the things on the back of the ship just went down and then the back opened.
What are those things called, Jude? What are those things called? If you're gonna watch Star Trek, you got to know.
I don't know.
They're called the nacelles.
The nacelles, and they go down and they go like a trillion times the speed of light.
It was watching a ship change configuration is one of the coolest things in all of Star Trek.
Basically like watching the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers change their Zords into the Megazord and the battle tank.
Listen, it's if they don't have this as a toy, I'm gonna riot.
Yeah.
I want the transforming Protostar. I will give you my money, or you can just send us one. That's okay. Production crew. But
you say it now, and they're gonna take your money.
But I want that toy. Like, I want it for you, and frankly, I want to have one for myself that I can stick on the wall here behind me for the podcast.
Ooh, another Christmas present idea.
There you go.
I already got another related Star Trek present for you.
Ooh, what is it?
It's 1 out of 80 things. Like it's
okay. Don't tell me. We'll wait.
I think it said on the cover it's like 1 of 80 made or something.
What's he got for me, folks? I don't know. Actually, I'm really curious. But
after Christmas, we'll tell you.
Well, yeah, we'll wait. Stay tuned. Jude's gonna tease me with it for the next 4 weeks.
I will.
All right, Jude. What else you got? Favorite moments from this episode?
Rock and Star. It's a baby star.
Right. That's what a protostar is. Literally, it's a baby star. They got a baby star. Man, that's a lot of energy, Jude.
Yeah, I know.
That's a new way to power a ship. It's been dilithium this whole time, and now they're powering it with a star. And it goes, you said 1 trillion times the speed of light. That's probably an accurate statement.
Maybe it goes a little faster. Oh, okay. There's like the speed of sound, speed of light. What's like another speed of light, but way faster?
I think that's warp 10. I think that's when you're everywhere at once. Folding space. I don't know. Do you have any other favorite moments, Jude?
Yeah, when when they were in the when they were telling everybody about like what they saw and stuff in the Klingon ship. Gwen and Dal went out and like at the edge of the ship where the glass would be, and it broke for some reason. Maybe because of the crash. It looked like it was crashed. And they were talking about the stars, and then Gwen's just like, isn't that a constipation? and then Dal's like, no, it's a constellation. A constipation is what we're going to be having after we eat Jankum stew.
Dude, I got to tell you, for a kid's show, this might be the second. This is the second poop joke they've had. The first one was a fart joke.
Oh yeah.
And then this is a poop joke without saying the word poop. Well done, Benson sisters. Well done, Star Trek creators. You worked in a poop joke without actually having to say the word poop. My hat's off to you, and I laughed just as hard as anyone else did. All right, Jude, I got a couple that you didn't mention. Okay. I had most of the same ones you did too. The moment when Dal picked up Zero and used him as a flashlight.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. That
was so funny.
Oh, I have one more.
Oh yeah.
It's kind of when Janeway was in the captain's chair again.
Yep.
And when she said real Janeway would clean the house, what does that mean? Is that from a future Voyager episode? Because if it is, don't spoil it. Don't tell me why.
If it is, it's not something that I'm thinking of off the top of my head, because I never remember seeing Janeway clean the house. I do remember her seeing kind of go like all commando soldier Rambo when something was attacking the ship once, and a big old virus. So maybe because the vines were attacking the ship, she went in and she cleaned house, like she got rid of all the bad stuff. Like that's the only reference I can think of off the top of my head. But yeah.
Oh, and if it was a virus, ha ha ha.
Right.
And we finally found out what those guys were. And I loved the laser going
those little
breaking
robots
off the branches.
Yeah, those little robots. I have that under things we learned.
I have so many questions. I have so many things we learned. I don't know what'll happen next week or next year.
Well, hold on. You're getting ahead of us. Yeah, those little robots are called ship scrubbers. So that's kind of neat. All right, I got two favorite moments, and these aren't really funny as much as they were important moments that I really loved. The first one is when Dreadnought was attacking the crew, and Gwen made the choice to step in between them.
Oh yeah,
and stop him from shooting him. Yeah. So Gwen made her choice. I loved that moment. She needed to make that choice. So much of these last 5 episodes have been building to Gwen making the right choice. We've seen it in her from the first episode.
Yeah.
So to see her do that, I loved that. And I referenced this earlier, I really, really, really loved, and I'm glad that they did it, the spot where after Dal had abandoned Gwen and said, why would we help you? You hurt us. You did all this bad stuff to us. Why would we help you? Why would we help you? And then
they helped her.
And then Dal comes back. But I love what he said. He said, you're with us now.
Yeah.
I love that. You're like the message of that, of like, look, yes, you did all of that, of all that stuff, but you've also shown yourself to be trustworthy, and he may have left you, the diviner may have left you, but we're not going to leave you. You're with us. That is compassion. That is forgiveness. And that is a quality and a value that we as human beings should have for each other, no matter what.
Yeah, that's good. Do you mind if I change the subject for a little bit?
Sure, buddy. What do you got? Where do you want to take us?
I think I know what the lesson is in my head.
Do the lesson. If you've got it on your head, go ahead and do it.
I think it was to forgive.
Yeah.
How they forgave Gwen and
Forgave. Yep.
Forgave Gwen. I think that's what...
Jude, let me ask you, how do you do that? I mean, when somebody has done something wrong to you, forgiving isn't always the easiest thing.
No, it's not.
To go back. But, look, here's the thing. It wasn't just that Gwen did something wrong and they just said, okay, we forgive you no matter what. Like, Gwen had proved herself at that point. Yes, she was a part of the bad guys. Yes, she did the things that she did, whatever she would have had to do, but she also saved them. She showed that she was that she really wasn't an evil person. you know, and they were able to forgive that and move on and bring her in and make her part of the crew, make her part of the family.
Yeah, and I forgot one favorite moment.
Oh, go for it.
When Gwen's weapon healing thingy is just so cool.
Yeah, because it's not just a weapon, right?
Yeah, how she
used it as a cast.
Yeah, she used it as a cast.
Yeah.
She did it to go up her arm, and then all the vines got off her arm because maybe it had spikes up, and then it was cutting the spikes, and it went up, and then it like grabbed.
Kind of used as a hook for Dow to grab onto.
Yeah,
that was cool.
And how if Dow did not grab it, it would still pull her up because it was around his wrist.
Yeah. Oh, I missed that.
You did?
That's cool. Did you hear what Gwen said about that thing? She said it was the only gift her father ever gave her.
Oh yeah.
So she got it from her father, whatever it is. So that's super cool. Jude, I got 2 references for the Trekkies that are in here. Can I talk about them real quick?
One. Okay.
All right. You mentioned it earlier, the Klingon ship.
Yeah. So this planet has been inhabited.
The Klingons have been there, which again, this goes actually over to questions that I have going forward. What are Klingons doing in the Delta Quadrant in Hirogen space?
Maybe Klingons are all everywhere in the universe.
I need to know. Now this is a little thing, but it's going to bug me until we find out the answer.
Me too.
Why are the Tellarites there? Why are the Klingons there? Why are the Medusans? Why do we have so many Alpha Quadrant people in the Delta Quadrant? What's going on? How is all this working? I need to know. But with that, we saw the Klingon swords. The other thing that they showed us, we saw Rock drinking out of it. The cup that she was drinking out of is a Klingon cup. It's what we call a blood wine cup.
Which cup?
Yeah, there was a point when Rock was drinking out of a cup. It was an old Klingon blood wine cup. Klingons have a drink called blood wine that they drink a lot of.
Yeah.
And they always drink it out of this sort of one type of cup. And that was if you didn't know it, if you weren't able to see it, you didn't catch the reference, you would never have known it. But Star Trek people, I'm on to you. I caught the reference, and there it is. All right, Jude, well, let's kind of round the corner here. I had one more message I want to talk about. A little bit earlier, we talked about the idea that the lesson here was forgiveness. And we also talked about how Gwen, like, despite all the bad stuff she did, she can still be redeemed. But I had one more that I don't know was necessarily what the episode was going for, but it was still something I picked out, and it had something to do with Rock. And what I love about her, you know me, I'm a big guy.
Yeah,
Your
with
dad's
a good
guy.
heart.
Yep. And so I find myself identifying a lot with Rock. It's why Hagrid is my favorite Harry Potter character, because I identify there. I identify a little bit with Rock, and Rock just has this deal where she doesn't want to be feared because of how she looks. And she doesn't want to be made fun of because of how she looks. Like, Rock is this big, super scary looking person on the outside, right? But we've known her. She's a sweetheart. Like, she's amazing. And we just want to protect her. Like her and Murf. Like, I want to protect both of them. And Rock's incredibly intelligent. And she is the heart and soul and the conscience of this particular group. But just this idea, like, she just wants to be accepted for who she is.
Okay.
Not because of how she looks. And that's a very Star Trek message, Jude, that it really doesn't matter what you look like.
Really?
Yeah. It doesn't matter what you look like.
Like black and white people?
Doesn't matter whether you're... Jude, Star Trek literally had an episode where there was a race of aliens where one side of their face was white and the other side of their face was black.
So, who cares?
But there was another race from the same planet where this side of their face was black and this side of their face was white.
What?
It was literally the only difference was which side of their face was white and which side of the face was black. And it was what's called an allegory, which is like a kind of making us think about ourselves. It was an allegory for what we have here on Earth of we're really just all people. It's just a matter of what color your skin is. But in the end, we're all the same.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that, so it literally from the very beginning and foundations of Star Trek, it really has been this idea, this lesson of just accepting people for who they are. And to see it from a kid's point of view and not an adult's point of view or a warring adult point of view, because a lot of times when we come across it in Star Trek, it's adults and they're fighting. To see this from the innocence of a child who just wants to be accepted for who she is is just amazing.
Yeah, I would have never picked this up if there would be no way that I would pick this up if I hadn't watched that episode.
Yeah, and Jude, I mean, I hope for you, like as your father, my hope for you and your sister and all the other kids out there is that you guys learn, know, and understand that you value somebody by the content of their character, by who they are as a person, and not by what they look like on the outside. You value them because, one, they're human beings and they deserve to be valued, but two, because of their heart and because of who they are, not because of what they look like. And I hope that is something you have going forward. All right, Jude, let's round this out. Let's turn the corner. What questions? They ended it. They just it wasn't a cliffhanger, but they just ended the episode. Like they're flying away from the diviner and bleh. And now we have to wait like 6 weeks, maybe 7 or 8.
Wait,
I don't know when it's coming back. Yeah, it's a long time.
I thought you said it was only like 3 weeks.
No. It's like not until after Christmas and the New Year. And I don't know how far into the New Year it's going to be. It might be January. It could be February. It could be like I don't know how long it's going to be. Come on, Prodigy. Come on, Star Trek. Get it back fast. But let's talk about where we think the story is going to go next. We solved the idea, like we've been saying for a couple of weeks, Gwen has to become a part of the crew.
Yeah, and she is now.
And now she is, and the crew has to, they have to learn about the ship and those kinds of things. But now that they're getting away from the diviner, where do you think we're going next?
I think maybe Dow will realize that instead of going away from the Federation, they should go to the Federation to get training and help.
Ooh.
So then they can go back out into space and when the diviner finds them, they will know how to fight and protect themselves.
Yeah, I think one of the things we have to see next. So let's say these first 5 episodes really were like one cohesive story.
Yeah.
The pilot of the show, kind of like I said, Gargoyles did, right? Like they total in combination comprise the pilot. We now know who our heroes are. We now know who the good guys are.
Yeah.
So in storytelling world, at some point, we need to know who our bad guy is.
And
so
we do.
Well, we do, but we need to know why the bad guy is bad, So I think a big piece of maybe the next several episodes might be diving into who the diviner is. Like how is he Gwen's father?
Like,
did he just adopt her? Or did he make her? Is she maybe like a robot really? And we don't know. Like, I don't know. Like, how did he give her that little sword thingy, malleable thing? Why is he after the protostar? How did he get in that tank of water? I think we might find out more about the diviner coming up here soon.
Yeah, like maybe going back in time and going and seeing what he was like before all the thing or before all of the Jude, prison thing.
Jude, you say that and you have no idea about this, but
I don't.
With hologram Janeway on board, the real Janeway had a lot of time travel adventures. So who knows? With hologram Janeway, maybe time travel is definitely on the books for the crew of the protostar.
Like in Voltron, when Commander Holt goes to Earth and they're creating all the other ships and to defend them from the Gora.
Jude, I still need to watch that show, buddy. I still need to watch
I've been asking you to watch it with me.
Well, you know what? Maybe while we're on the break, maybe Star Trek, maybe this show, Murf's Turf, will become about Voltron. I don't know. Or maybe it becomes about Star Trek, the original animated series. I don't know. We'll talk about that in a few minutes.
Okay.
But that's kind of where I think, all right, so let me ask you this, Jude. What questions do you have left going forward? Our final segment. What questions do you have going forward?
Dal is still kind of a jerk.
But he's a better jerk, right?
Yeah.
Like he's a jerk, but then he's not. But then he's a jerk, but then he's not.
Yeah, like I think he is growing better and not being as much of a jerk as much.
Okay.
And why the heck did the diviner leave Gwen? That's just mean.
Right.
And to his own daughter, where there are only 2 species, or there are only 2 living species of that alien left.
Do we know that?
Well, isn't that what they told us in the first episode?
If they did, I missed it.
You did?
They're the only 2 that we know of. I don't know that they're the only 2 left. It's possible. I'm going to have to go back and watch the first one and see if that's actually what they told us.
I think it is.
It could be.
And if that is true, then why would the diviner leave Gwen? If the diviner is the last boy of its kind,
yeah,
there will be no way for any more alien species left, or unless the men have babies.
You know, Jude, I think even on Earth, seahorses, the fathers are the ones that have the babies.
Wait, they are?
I think so.
I thought the moms have the babies and then the dads protect them.
It could be that too. I'm not a marine biologist. Questions I have going forward. I want to know why and how this ship works being powered by a protostar.
Yeah.
What is this whole protostar containment? Because this is new for Star Trek. We've never seen this before. So I need to know how this ship works. I am more and more curious about other parts of the ship, like sickbay, and is the medical hologram in there? Like I'm more and more curious about the ship now that we know that there's this new drive. We know that it transforms like a Voltron or a Transformer or a Power Ranger Zord or whatever. Like, and it's awesome. I need to know more about this ship.
Yeah.
And what this ship is doing. That's probably another thing. While we may be learning about the Diviner, I think we may learn a lot about the history of the protostar itself.
Yeah.
Of the ship. I think we have to learn that too.
And how fast do they actually go?
I think that's all part of what we have to learn. I've got one more question.
Yeah.
I really need to know now why the Diviner wants the ship. We've learned that the protostar is inside the ship.
Well,
but why does he want it? And he says this. When he's on the planet and he looks up and he sees the ship. Now we know it wasn't really the ship. It was just the planet putting it in his brain.
Yeah.
But he turns around and there's Gwen behind him being sucked in. But he looks up at the ship and he goes, salvation.
What does that mean?
What does he mean by salvation? You know, what is it about this ship? What is it really the ship he wants?
Or is it the star?
Or is it the protostar that's inside the protostar? Like what is it? Because he did look like he was going to maybe rescue Gwen. Like he really had to think about it.
Like in that moment with Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker, when Luke Skywalker was getting blown up by all the electricity, and then Darth Vader had to go, should I save Luke or should I?
Yeah, he actually struggled with it.
Yeah,
right?
I know.
And and it really looked to me like the Diviner wasn't just like, go away, Gwen, I'm going to go up here. It looked like there was actually a struggle, you know? So at least maybe he does care about Gwen on some level, but there's something about the ship, or there's something about the star that's inside the ship, or something else about the ship that for some reason is more important to him than even his own daughter. And I don't think we know that yet. And that's just a question I have going forward.
And maybe as another question we have going forward, maybe the Diviner has a energy tracking device, and he tracked the star, and he has another protostar inside of his ship, and he knows the same readings or the same level energy level, and he has to have a protostar to power his ship, and his star is about to go out.
All right, Star Trek Prodigy creative team. You just heard it from the kid himself. That's where we're going to go with it, right? That's how you guys are going to write the show. He just wrote it for you. Okay, maybe not. We can't wait to see what you guys have actually come up with and where you're going to take the story. But we're really excited. I just can't believe we've got to wait so long, Jude.
Yeah.
I just can't believe we've got to wait so long. Well, Jude, that's going to do it for us this week on Murf's Turf. Hey, folks, email us, murfsturfpodcast@gmail.com. We would love to hear from you. We'll read it on next week's episode or several weeks from now, Jude. We'll talk about it. We'll figure out what we're going to do next as we're in this little break and hiatus. But for now, Jude, let's say goodbye.
Bye.
Happy holidays. Merry Christmas, everybody.
And Happy New Year.